Me too. It's a special thing.
Yay!
Like, I'm wearing real clothes. I brushed my hair.
Woo! I'm gonna plug in my headphones so I don't. Because we're all in quarantine, my son's over there playing Dungeons and Dragons on Zoom or something. I don't know.
Oh.
So if you hear him occasionally, that's what's going on.
Well, and it's possible you'll hear my dogs barking. You just never know. So, we'll do what we can. But
what's really cute is if your dogs bark, Fiona's laying right beside me in the chair. So if your dogs bark, she's gonna go, what?
Yeah, that's the thing about dogs. They'll just join in. They're joiners.
They are.
So tell me what you've been doing.
Trying not to go crazy. So I've been writing and editing, and I taught 2 writing classes the last 2 Saturdays in a row for different RWA chapters. And one of my friends found Cards Against Humanity is online, and so we played that on Zoom, my writer friends, a few times, so that was fun. So finding new ways to live when everybody's in their own living room.
So are you doing anything like hobbies or trying to catch up on things that you might not have gotten to since you're sequestered?
Yeah, well, it's not a hobby though, but I learned how to use ACX. So I auditioned narrators, and I'm going to put my Muse Chronicles out in audio.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love ACX.
Yeah. I had set up an account 3 years ago, and then when I got to the part where it's like you have to make an audition script, and I was like, whoa, and I never logged in again. So I thought, well, when I'm trapped inside, I have no excuse. So I learned how, and I got a bunch of auditions and emailed with a bunch of different narrators, and I finally picked one, and now she's like 5 chapters in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
oh, that's cool. That's cool. I actually have one of my Adam Frankenstein short story books that is on audio, and I used ACX. I had a fantastic experience.
Oh, nice.
I absolutely love the person that I chose to do the reading. He did a great job. And now, of course, audiobooks have just exploded. I mean, everybody's trying to do audiobooks now. I know some authors can do it themselves. I think I can read okay, but I'm not a professional, so I don't want to. I don't
have the editing equipment either. So, and I get overwhelmed, and then I'm like, no, I can't. So, but she's doing a great job, and she's really good. We figured out, what she needs to know to fix and how I should say it. And so anyway, so we're really good now, and we're going through all the chapters, and she wants to read the whole series. So she's made voices for each of the muses because they each get a book later. And so anyway, it's been super fun and exciting. And I never would have done it had there not been a plague.
The plague. So it's one of your Muse Chronicle books.
Yep, the first one. She's going to have it done, she said, by May 15th. So wow. That's exciting. And I don't know the next step. I know ACX has to approve it, and I don't know how long that takes. So I'm not sure when it will be out, but she'll be done May 15th. So
just because we're going to be playing this for everyone, tell them a little bit about that series.
Okay, so the Muse Chronicle is one of my favorite series I've ever written, and it came about from a short story called Unemployed Muses Anonymous. And I had a woman reach out to me who was editing my little short story anthology, and she emailed me and said, I would read the crap out of these if you wrote full books. And I couldn't for a few years because I had other series I had to finish, but it kept percolating back there. And so the basic premise is that the 9 muses, the daughters of Zeus, are born every generation to inspire mankind to the next level of science and art and all that kind of thing. And so this generation's muses actually found each other, and they are renovating a theater to inspire mankind, like the one that inspired Benjamin Franklin and Voltaire and all that, only this one's going to be in California. And sadly, because the sisters came together, there are also the evil guys who are trying to free Kronos. So they, because actually when Kronos was around was the golden age of man. And when Zeus came in, he started messing around with humans and ruined everything. So the these guys want to get Kronos out from the center of the earth. And so anyway, the whole thing goes, but the cool part about it that I love so much is that the core paranormal peeps are women. And so instead of a brotherhood, I have a sisterhood, and I love that. And I loved writing it. It was so much fun. And each muse, the muse that's inside of her, she's a human vessel. So the muse that's inside of her is really colors her personality. So book one, she is the muse of tragic poetry. So she teaches high school English and they write angsty poetry, which feeds her muse. And like the muse of epic poetry is a psychiatrist for the Navy, for Navy SEALs. And so that feeds her, you know, epic hunger. And so each of the muses, it's really cool. So the muse of history, she is of course a history professor, and each of them, you know, make their core stronger. And then the men are guardians, and they have a latent ability that doesn't come out until they find their muse. So when they find their muse, each of the guys always thinks they're going nuts because they suddenly have this power that they don't know what this is or where it came from. And eventually they figure out, you know, that they're the guardian for that muse. So anyway, it's a super cool series, and the way it all came together was amazing. And I'm not a plotter, but because that series didn't have a publisher and I was doing it myself, it made it work out that I had one muse I was going to kill during the series, and she lived. And I thought, uh-oh. And so I actually ended up emailing my cover artist and going, I think there's going to be one more book. And she was like, what? And so we did. So Devoted to Destiny, I think, is the 5th book. And that whole book wasn't supposed to exist. And if I had been with a publisher, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So anyway, it's a really fun series. I'm so excited it'll be an audio. That's probably more than you ever wanted to know. But
now tell me, because I know, you know, we can't go to the conventions and all of that.
Right.
How are you staying in touch with your readers?
I have a Facebook group for the Night Angels. That's my reader group, and they are the bomb, and they're super fun because while we're stuck inside, when I write, I always give them sneak peeks of things as I'm writing. So they're like hungry for that book to come out by the time it comes out. So they get to see the cover first. They get sneak peeks while I'm writing and editing, and then I have been doing, I'm a tarot card reader too. And so I always do a weekly reading that goes up on YouTube for the week. But when we started being trapped inside, I thought, well, I'll try a Facebook Live. So I have done that twice now, and it has been so much fun. We've had people on the Facebook Live from my readers from my #1 fan from Portugal and Australia and New Zealand and Tasmania. And we had one in the UK and another one in Brazil. And so it was super fun. And so I pull cards for people and we just chat and shoot the breeze. And one of my friends who I sang with in Pirates of Penzance from Comic Opera, he went on to be Jafar at Disneyland in their live action Aladdin, and he did that for 20 years, but I sang with him before that, and he was on there too. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's Ron Banks. So anyway, it was super fun. So I'm trying to brush my hair once a week so that I can be on Facebook Live. and we pull cards and chat. This last week I did it, and a bunch of my writer friends were on there. So we were pulling cards for fictional characters, and it was super fun. So they promised to report back and let me know if that, you know, helped their writing that week. So it was really fun.
That's real fun. So then what are you doing at home to not go stir crazy?
Well, my son, which you can hear over there playing Dungeons and Dragons, he's the opera singer now, and he was actually had been on contract with Sarasota Opera when all of this erupted, and so he was doing operas 6 nights a week down there in Florida, and finally Florida said you have to end your season early, so he finished the season a week early, and then they let him stay because they had already bought him plane tickets. So he came home on March 23rd. So we quickly had to make room for him. And then he's been stuck here since. He had a job waiting for him when he got back, and that's gone. So we're all just hanging out. But luckily we all get along really well. And so we're doing fine so far, knock on wood.
Now, my challenge is, because it's myself, my husband, my son, we're all here together.
Right.
And so that's part of the challenge is cooking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's desperate times when I cook and they actually eat it. So I am not a good cook. We have to keep it really super simple.
Me and you both. I have caught myself on fire so many times in the kitchen. No. I'm not even kidding. Yeah. So, but luckily Reno and Ken, my husband, they know my limitations, so it's okay.
So they're okay with simple.
Yes.
Oh, good. Yeah, mine too. If it's edible, they are so happy.
Yes. I one time tried to make vanilla wafers, and homemade ones. And I made these things, and when they came out of the oven, I'm looking at them and they were like melted puddles all over the pan. I'm like, what is it? What happened? And I took a picture on my cell phone and I sent it to my mom, and I'm like, what happened to these cookies? And my mom looks at the picture and she goes, did you put baking powder in it? And I said, yeah. And she goes, did it expire? And I said, baking powder expires? And I looked on the box. It had been expired like 6 years. I was like, oh. No. So they never rose. Oh. So that's how great of a cook I am. I didn't even know to look. So
maybe what we should do is invite people to post some very simple recipes for those of us who are cook challenged during the pandemic.
We definitely should, because everybody's posting these amazing cakes and desserts and things and bread they're making, and I just think, oh, there's no way.
No, for me either. It's got to be, something I can spice up out of a can. Like I made some Hamburger Helper. You would have thought I made filet mignon. They were so excited.
Oh my God. I made Hamburger Helper once. This is funny, but I'm horrible also at cooking and making a good substitution. When you look in there and you go, well, I'm out of this, but I'll use this instead. I always pick the wrong thing. So anyway, I had beef stroganoff Hamburger Helper one time, but I had no hamburger. So I looked in the freezer and I'm like, well, I have chicken gizzards and those are kind of in strips. That'll work. Oh. And so I make this and I don't tell anyone because I forgot by that point. And so my family's eating this and they're like, what is this? Because it's really gristly. And they're like, what is it? I told them, they're like, ah! That was all I had.
So, oh my goodness, that's great.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm legendary in the kitchen.
Well, for me, I'm writing just like you. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get all my typewriters cataloged. I'll have to show you. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but so I'm looking up the serial numbers, getting the year, putting all the information about each typewriter, which is a challenge.
How many do you have?
Almost 100.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
are you going to make a typewriter museum?
That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm making a typewriter museum.
Have you seen Doug Clegg has 1 million typewriters too?
Does Doug?
Yes.
I know Doug too.
Yes.
I need to contact him.
Yes, you guys should compare notes because he'll sometimes post things like, I wrote this on this kind of Corona, whatever, because he likes to type on them, I guess. And he talks about how hard it is to hit on certain ones and all that. Yeah, you guys got to hook up.
I know. I'm going to do that right when after we're through. I'm going to have to look him up, find out what he's got.
Yeah, you guys can compare notes. Yeah, you fill in empty holes.
Well, thank you so much for doing this kind of spur of the moment. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I did brush my hair for you, so.
I know. I'm so honored. I am so honored. And we might get lucky. People might take pity on us. Maybe they'll ship us some goodies.
Yes.
Maybe they'll leave us a really super, super simple, cannot possibly mess it up
Simple
kind of
recipes. Yes.
That would be great.
A few ingredients that I don't have to stir partway through.
Exactly.
Even
All
microwave things. My husband's like, you're not going to stir that halfway through, are you? I'm like, no.
Well, thanks again. And
thank you. It was fun to see you.
Yeah, it was great. It was great to see you. I'll see you again.
Yeah. See you later.
Bye.